Hey everybody, hello, hello, and welcome. Get my microphone here. How is everyone? So good to see you. So, all right, I just want to get started. I think I have a really good topic for you today, and I'm really quite excited to share some of my favorite tips to help you to actually build a highly engaged email list through Facebook Live, right? So, many of you are aware that I myself have been doing Facebook Lives pretty religiously for exactly a year. So I can definitely attest to really how effective it is as a tool to build a highly engaged list. So I'm going to share some, actually, I think I have about 8 or 9 tips that I'm going to share with you today. And so lots of good stuff here. So, all right. So hello, everybody. Hello, if you're just joining me, welcome. All right, so welcome to all of you. Welcome, practice builders, and those of you that are listening to me live today, and those that are going to catch the recording. Leslie Bytel here, and I'm a business mentor for functional nutrition professionals. And in the work that I do, I actually help professionals in private practice. I help them to overcome, that sense of confusion, that sense of overwhelm that's really common when it comes to building up the business side of your practice. So I help you to kind of overcome those lots of challenges when it comes to marketing overwhelm so that you can create a thriving and profitable practice and really make a good living doing the work that you love. Now, before we get into today's topic, I do want to just briefly, I'm going to do a little screen share here. Actually, I'm going to share a little a URL. Let's see. All right. So I have a URL kind of floating across my screen there. It's lesliebytel.com/MSI. And I want to make sure that you save your seat. I'm doing actually a complimentary 4-day masterclass challenge in early February. So you definitely want to save your seat. We are going to be talking about how to create multiple streams of income for your health practice. So go to lesliebytel.com/MSI to save your seat. All right, guys. So I'd love to hear from you. How many of you, just give me a thumbs up or, just say yes in the comments if you would like to learn to utilize Facebook Live in order to grow your email list, but you just have no idea where to start. So that is what we're going to cover today. I was in that exact position a year ago, last late December. So here's the deal. Building a highly engaged email list really is a serious game changer for your business because it allows you, there's so many reasons why, but essentially it allows you to get in touch of your audience, when you want, right? You're able to deliver just a ton of free value so they get to know, like, and trust you. And if they know, like, and trust you, you are in a great position to, to be able to have an audience there that is wanting to buy whatever it is that you offer, right? So it's really important. So I am a really big advocate of using Facebook Live to grow your audience. It's an incredible tool. Like most people are on Facebook in some way, shape, or form. And so what it really allows you, massive reach, and it's 100% free. So it's a really great tool to use to grow your list. So I'm a huge fan of it myself. And it's really, having an engaged list, I think, is really your ticket to building a really successful digital business, right? And regardless of whether or not you're a health practitioner and you've got a brick and mortar, I would say in this day and age, most people that I know have really transitioned to an online platform. So it's really important that you are able to be found online. So anyway, so here's what you're going to learn today. you are going to learn 4 reasons why building your email list is so critical to your success in 2021. I'm going to go into a little more detail in terms of why it's so important. I'm going to answer the burning question: should I go live on my business page or my personal page, or for that matter, a group? So we're gonna get to the bottom of what the best solution is for you. We are going to talk about, I'm going to share some tips on how to structure your live stream so that you can grow your list. And of course, I'm going to cover a few tidbits in between that I think will be really helpful for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. I have a lot of content to share with you today, so I want to get to it. So I want to first share the reasons why email really is the #1 asset in your business in 2021. All right, I know we have a ton of social platforms. There's a lot of different options out there, and but I do want to share why email is still, I think, your #1 asset in your business. So number 1, email is personal, right? Email allows you to literally land in that person's inbox. So there's no ranking system or like secret algorithm that is limiting your reach here, right? And it is also very direct and personal. Email is highly targeted and strategic, right? So email marketing is highly strategic because the reason is, to get on your email list, essentially that person, that subscriber needs to fill out a little form, to opt in, to get your lead magnet, right? In most cases, we're going to talk about that in a second. So simply by taking this action to get on your email list, it really shows that they are very receptive to your message, right? So email, like I said, it's very highly targeted, it's very strategic, and just people that are, opting in, like they are showing you they're interested in this topic, which really, it's great because they're showing you right out of the gate that they're very receptive to your messaging. All right, so number 3, why is email really your top tool? People consistently, now think about it, people check their email multiple times a day, right? I know I do. Everyone I work with, actually, we tend to check email probably too much, right? If you really think about it. But that's really another reason why email is such a great tool, is because not only, let's face it, everyone on the internet has at least one email address, right? Some of us have multiple addresses. In fact, I think I read just the other day, there's something like almost 4 billion active email addresses floating around out there, which is a lot, right? It's like, I don't know, half the Earth's population. So there are a lot of active email addresses, and most of us have at least one, and we tend to check our emails very consistently. So there you go. There's another really good reason. Now, guys, the creme de la creme of all reasons why email marketing is still, I think, your #1 asset in your business is because you own it, right? OMG, this is so important. So you own your list. And the reality is you don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram, you own none of the social media platforms. Your social media campaigns, honestly, things can happen. Let's just say things can happen. So what I really want to encourage you to do, if you take away anything from today's training, I really want to recommend that you're using social media as a mechanism to grow your email list, right? So this is the #1, to me, this is the reason why we use social media, right? Other than being social, keeping in touch with our friends, but just from a business standpoint, this is it. We want to drive traffic to our email list, all right? So now, hopefully I've convinced you that email truly is important. It's honestly your #1 asset in your business. You should always be, implementing tactics in order to grow that list. And then there is a whole nother side of that coin, right? You're growing the number of people on your list, but you're also engaging with your list, right? To develop the relationship so that when you do have something that you want to offer, right? Like let's say you come out with a new ebook that you want to sell, right? Or, or maybe you have an online course that you want to promote to your email list. It's really important that you have engaged with that list and developed a relationship before you ask them to buy anything, right? So there's really two sides of the email list coin, so to speak. It's definitely important to grow your volume, the number of subscribers, and then it's, of course, super, super important to develop the relationship with the people on your list. All right, so now I want to transition into I'm going to share some tips on how to utilize Facebook Live specifically to grow your list and to develop the relationship with your list. So I really feel like Facebook Lives, really any kind of live streams, I mean, you could do pretty much the same thing on Instagram as well. So I just tend to pick Facebook. I think it's a really great platform. So for today's conversation, that's what I'm going to be focused on. All right, so I think I have like 8 or 9 tips that I'm going to share with you that I think are really going to be helpful so that you can maximize your efforts, right? All right, so tip number 1 is you really want to create an irresistible lead magnet that is, okay guys, this is the important thing, positioned to solve a specific and urgent problem that your target market's experiencing. All right, super important. So actually I could do a whole entire training just on this topic, but for today I'm just going to share with you that picking a topic and actually picking a really killer title is like so important. I mean, really, it really needs to be catchy. It needs to solve an urgent problem that your target market's experiencing, right? Because let's face it, there's a lot of ebooks and there's a lot of things out there right now. So you can really stand apart and grab someone's attention if you pick a great topic. So what I want you to do is start by thinking about, where is my target market, before they find me, right? What are they struggling with? What are some of their issues? What is an urgent problem that I could address in an ebook? And the thing I want to really emphasize here, guys, well, first of all, specificity really is important, and you're not trying to solve everything, okay? So what I have really learned over the years is specificity, if you can really narrow it down to solving a very specific problem, then your ebook is going to perform much, much better. All right. So I've seen that happen over and over again. So it does need to be really valuable. It needs to solve a problem that's commonly experienced by your ideal client. And in terms of the title, because again, the title is critical, really think about, what's in it for them, right? So if you can have a benefits-driven title, then I think you're going to end up with a winner. All right. So tip number 1 in terms of how to build your email list with Facebook Live is to first create an irresistible lead magnet that's really positioned well in the market. It's positioned to solve a specific and urgent problem that your target market has. Tip number 2 is you want to, so now we're going to move on to the live stream component, right? So we've got your lead magnet. We'll kind of put that aside for a moment. Let's talk about the process of creating and doing these live streams on a regular basis. So what you're going to want to do is choose live stream topics, right? So ideally, you're going to sit down and brainstorm. I mean, it's really awesome if you can sit down and brainstorm, 4 or 5 topics. Believe me, you'll thank me, right? Because sometimes coming up with the topics can be really the most challenging part of this. So you want to sit down, you want to really just try to brainstorm topics that are related to your niche. And again, just like with the lead magnet, you want to craft a really catchy, benefits-driven title, right? So really important. So a couple other thoughts under this tip. So you really want to try to keep it focused on your niche, of course. You want to make sure that whatever you're talking about is going to provide a ton of value to your ideal client. And really try to think about what the biggest struggles and pain points are that your target market has. And what you're going to want to do is kind of break those, you're going to want to come up with like mini lessons, right, that you can basically teach in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so that would be great if you could brainstorm a list of like little mini lessons that you could teach, 15, 20 minutes, I think is ideal. All right, so tip number 2 is you're going to come up with some really good topics, and you're going to craft catchy, benefits-driven, benefits-oriented titles. I got to just mention really quick, I almost forgot to mention, I do also like to include some bullet points on what people are going to learn in my live streams, right? So definitely the title is the most important thing. In addition to the title, if you have the time, just kind of think about what are some of the topics you're going to cover and just maybe come up with 3 or 4 bullet points to share as well. All right, so let's go on to tip number 3. So tip number 3 is you got to get, if you're going to go through all this, you want to try to get people, you want to promote your live stream in advance in order to get people there to watch. Now, guys, please do not worry if the first few times you go live and like no one's there. Completely do not worry about that. I promise you, it's not a big deal. Just keep going, all right? Ultimately, we want to promote in advance so that we can get more people joining us live. So you do want to do some promotion in advance because it's just going to greatly improve the number of views that you get. So you want to promote and share your live stream in advance. You want to do this via your social media channels, your email list. Let your followers know the topic that you're going to talk on, of course, the date and time. So they're excited to tune in to get a ton of, free value. And one other tip under this category is just make sure that you are really crystal clear on where do they go? What's the link? I think that's probably the number one question I get when I send out an email every week reminding everyone about the live stream that I'm planning to do that day. I inevitably will get return messages saying, where do I tune in? So even though I include it, I still get questions. So that just goes to show that, people really tend to scan very quickly. So do your best to, really make that link stand out. So because of course you want people to be able to find it very easily. All right, so tip number 4. All right, so tip number 4, I recommend if you're new at live streaming, spend a little bit of time. I don't think you need to write out like a whole script. I actually don't recommend that because, you want to be having eye contact with your audience. What I do like to do though, is I like to just have a little outline. Okay, so a little bit of an outline, just, to help me stay on track. Just like a bullet pointed outline, maybe a few things to remind myself to mention. But what I do recommend, so tip number 4 is, if you find that you're really nervous, ease your nerves a little bit by practicing a couple times first, right? So I do think that can help just to kind of get the ball rolling, right? So just practice to yourself and throw away perfection. I promise you, perfection, it's just not necessary on Facebook Live. Okay, so that's tip number 4. Number 5, okay, this is super important. This is one of the most common questions I get. People always ask me, Leslie, should I go live on my page? Should I go live? Like, where should I go live? It's a really big question. A lot of people come to me and they say, well, doesn't it make sense for me to go live on my personal page? I've got more people there. Other clients will say, well, Doesn't it make sense to go live in my Facebook group? So listen, there's pros and cons, right? I, however, really want to recommend that you go live from your business page, okay? Your business profile. That's where I recommend that you go live. The reason is because most, I'm guessing everyone, most people, they need to generate more leads, right? Like usually that's our biggest challenge, especially when we're first starting, is, you know, that lead generation process. So if that is you, if you are someone that's like, oh my gosh, if only I could get more people reaching out to me to inquire about my services, then for sure, I want you to go live inside of your business page, right? Your business profile on Facebook. And the reason, I mean, there's tons of reasons, but oh my gosh, you can run ads if you go live through your business profile. So you could promote your Facebook Live in advance. You could also run paid ads to the recorded version, all right? You can share it everywhere. If you go live in a group, you really have your hands tied. You really cannot share it outside of the group. So like, let's say you go live in a group, and let's just say part of your marketing strategy is to email your Facebook Live link like the next day, right? You know, hey everybody, here, you know, I went live in case you missed it, here's the topic, that kind of thing. And then let's say you share the link. Nobody can watch it unless they're in that group, okay? So that's super important to understand. So the way I look at it is I like to go live in a more public place so that I can increase my audience, grow my audience, increase my following. If you also wanted to go live in a private group, that would be fine. So going live in a private group is really, I think, more of a nurturing type of process. Going live on your business page is more of a lead generation type of process. So for the sake of our conversation today, I mean, really, we're talking about how to grow your list. So there you go. If you want to grow your list, you definitely want to go live on your business page. All right. All right, so let's see. So you want to go live, you want to broadcast from your business page. Hopefully everyone is clear on that. Tip number 6, just a couple of tips in terms of how to structure your lives. Just want to remind you that when you go live, you want to be sure to introduce yourself right out of the gate. So right off the bat, let your audience know who you are, what you do, the problems you solve, you know, and how they can learn more about you. So just want to remind you about that. Number 7. All right, so remember, today's conversation is all about how you can grow your email list, right? So we obviously absolutely have to promote that lead magnet during the live. Okay, so, or whatever your call to action is going to be. So this is what I want to remind you. Make sure that you promote that lead magnet, I would say 2 or 3 times during the Facebook Live. Because remember, people are kind of coming and going. Most people can't stay the whole time. So you just want to really try to remember to give the link and let your audience know how that is going to help them. How is that ebook or that lead magnet actually going to help them in their lives, right? So, and just make sure that you're crystal clear on exactly how they can grab that. All right, number 8. You want to share the live, right? So you can click the share button underneath your Facebook Live, and you can share the broadcast to, you know, your personal page. You can share it into your groups. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to share. So just remember to make sure you share it. And actually, that being said, I guess this is a bonus tip. I do recommend that you create an event, a Facebook event on your business page, right? And so that is part of my process. I always create an event, and then I can, hit that share button in advance. I can try to promote, via that the event in Facebook. All right. So anyway, just remember to share. All right. So now tip number 9, is rinse and repeat. So guys, consistency is everything, all right? So honestly, what I would recommend is if you're going to use this strategy, it does take some time to build it up. It's not an overnight thing, right? So what I recommend is that you pick a day and time that you're going to go live and you do it every week because you want to build a habit. Really, you want to build a habit for yourself, but also for your audience. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get, the more viewers you're going to get, the more people on your email list, and the more, know, like, and trust you're going to develop, right? So consistency, I think, is the name of the game here. So super, super important. Just, rinse and repeat, do it again. All right, guys, so before we wrap up today, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already done so, please go to lesliebytel.com/MSI and grab your seat. I'm super excited. I've got this 4-day free live training coming up, and it's all about how to create multiple streams of income in your business. And I know we all want that, right? If there's one thing that I know really clearly, especially in this day and age, you want multiple streams of income. You don't want to be 100% reliant on one thing. So please grab your spot, lesliebytel.com/MSI for multiple streams of income. All right, guys. So actually, I am going to sign off for now. I hope this training was helpful for you. And honestly, my biggest hope is that, I'm hoping that I've inspired you in some way, shape, or form to take action, because really doing, we've got this tool, it's free, right? Like, of course, you can spend money, you can run paid ads, but really, if you think about it, like, it's a huge opportunity to be able to access, oh my gosh, so many people without really spending a dime, right? Really, what you're investing is your time and your effort, but I absolutely believe it's worth it. And if you are consistent, and if you're really consistently providing value and showing up for your audience, I can promise, there's not a lot of things I can promise, right? But I can literally promise you that you are going to see great results in your business. Your email list is going to grow, and you're going to have like an audience that feels connected to you, and they're going to be eagerly waiting when you have something new that you want to promote to them, right? So anyway, hope that's helpful, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now, everybody.